Anyway, so we got some things to talk about around the world of wrestling. People are getting sick. There's things going on. You were going to bring up some things to me that we were going to react to.
Well, there is some news around wrestling. Let's talk about one of the big stories that has broken overnight. Obviously, we are recording on Friday, the 26th. Tessa Blanchard, no longer with Impact Wrestling. She was, I believe, their world's heavyweight champion.
Well, and I must admit that you didn't prep me on all these. I said, just go through and pick out the headlines, but you did right before we went on the air. You said, did you hear about Tessa Blanchard? And I thought, oh my God, what happened? Well, she's done with Impact. I'm like, oh, okay. So basically, as I said, what that means is she's not going to be allowed to come over and help out at a friend's lemonade stand on Sunday afternoons anymore. It's not like this is the end of life for Tessa, but she's done with Impact. I'm assuming she didn't want to leave Mexico and go all the way to wherever the fuck it is. Where are they taping these days? They're doing new programming with no people, right?
I presume they are. I don't follow Impact closely, but from what I gather, she wasn't asked to leave Mexico and go anywhere. She was asked to send in promos from Mexico and then just decided not to do it.
Well, in that case, it doesn't sound like that she was entertaining the idea of wanting to be invited back, does it? So, I mean, like I said, I wouldn't want to go from Mexico to wherever they're taping in the middle of a pandemic. I wouldn't want to really be in Mexico to goddamn begin with, just be quite perfectly honest with you, during a pandemic. But, I guess they had to fire her if she's not only not coming, but now she won't send the promos. Well, fuck it. Move on. She's a great worker.
Who's going to hire her?
Well, one would imagine that since her father is over on the other channel and she's one of the best female workers in the world, Charlotte Flair level, the last time that I saw her, maybe even better with some of the facials and shit, AEW wouldn't want to actually have a legitimate women's division, or does she have heat with somebody over there?
Well, here's the thing. Yes, she's talented. She's one of the most talented female wrestlers out there. But AEW, again, the all-inclusive wrestling promotion, by all accounts, their female division all get along. Everyone, they have no problems with that other than the booking.
Well, no, they have no problems otherwise than the booking and the execution.
That's right.
I'm sure they all get along. They all can't grab their ass with either hand.
Now, Tessa Blanchard has a little bit of a reputation for several things, including being difficult. And of course, there was the issue where she was accused by several wrestlers, including, I think, a few that are aligned with AEW, of in the past using the N-word on a wrestler and various things that wouldn't really jive with an all-inclusive locker room or one where there isn't someone with Tully Blanchard heat amongst the other workers in the division.
Well, yeah, okay, you just brought something up. Tully was not the most popular, gregarious motherfucker in the locker room for Crockett either, but he was so fucking good, and he drew money, and fucking people put up with it. I don't give a fuck what they do with their women's division, because I don't give a fuck what they do. But if they're serious about actually having a women's division in a professional wrestling company, and they want to get away from the Japanese schoolgirls or the just parade of indie-rific, poorly booked, green, inexperienced talent that they have paraded through under the guise of female wrestlers, if I was Tony Khan, I would fucking talk to Tessa Blanchard, and as long as she was willing to do business and didn't seem to be causing any issues or trying to cause any issues with coming to a deal, I would then basically either bring her in, put the belt on her, and have all these other girls do a job on the way out and just fucking hide them somewhere and get me some women that could work with Tessa and start all over again. Or elsewise, I just wouldn't bring her in and just keep having the same green girls have the same shitty matches. Like I said, it doesn't matter. But if they really wanted to do something, there they got a chance.
But you hit on a couple of things there. One, I'm sure she would probably have a very nice conversation with Tony Khan, the same way that you said every time you've ever been around Tessa, she's been delightful to be around. And then it's the other women she works with who seem to have the problem. But secondly, you just said you'd put the title on her and book the whole division around her. if she just refused to send in promos as the Impact World's Heavyweight Champion, not Women's Heavyweight Champion, the Heavyweight Champion of every division they have there, what does that say about reliability? How could you put another title on her right away?
For one thing, it's Impact. So I mean,
but
really,
you understand
I know, I'm kidding. And I'd be fucking hotter than a $2 pistol if it was OVW. Well, she wouldn't be my men's champion, but she might be my women's champion. If it was just OVW local television or whatever the case, I'd be hot. Except we don't know what went on the other side, because there's been some occasions where people have asked me for some fucking promos, but they didn't get them because they didn't come through with something on their side. I'm just saying, all things being equal, Tully Blanchard is working in AEW. He obviously has had a relationship with Tony Khan now for some period of time, months, whatever. I think they could all sit down, and if Tony Khan was Bill Watts and commanded some respect, okay, I know I've already jumped the shark, he could sit down, he could say, you know what, I am willing, because of your great talent and the Blanchard name in the business, to do business with both of you guys. But this shit needs to work out. If you have any other idea of coming in here and doing anything else besides being the women's champion and leading the division and doing what's best for business, as we all agree that that's what it is, then great, that's what I want to do. If not, I'll fire you. I'll fire your father. I'll hire somebody else from your family just so I can fire them too. And we're going to give you some fucking money and give you a national TV show what you can do. The daughter of Ric Flair is over on the other channel. Prove to me you can be better. Challenge her. And then give her the spot to do it. And then bring in any girl in the business that is not under contract to the WWE that can have a legitimate athletic contest with Tessa Blanchard, wherever that may be. Don't do any of this intergender bullshit so everybody tunes out and goes, what the fuck? And you're left with the same kind of goddamn play wrestling fans you started with. Focus this girl that works like a fucking guy and has that game face and believable shit, and out fucking Charlotte and Rhea Ripley the other fucking channel. If you wanted to establish a women's division, you could do that. Or you could keep letting a bunch of goddamn pampered, inexperienced, indie-rific outlaw guys recommend their fucking girlfriends and goddamn significant others and trainees and people that they saw on a fucking rec center show and it popped them in front of 100 people. And that's the kind of girls matches you've got right now.
What about if the entire women's roster, and I know you don't give a shit about the women's division, and I haven't been a big fan of it. There is some talent there, but by and large, I'm not a fan of it in AEW. But what if that entire locker room comes to Tony Khan and says, we refuse to work with her?
Okay, see ya. None of you there's not a girl there that makes a goddamn difference in anything. They've booked them all to be equal and equally obscure. There was potential in Britt Baker, and as a heel still, yes. As a heel, yes, but she's in a wheelchair. Thanks to one of their other fucking projects, green projects. So Britt Baker's a great personality. And as a matter of fact, if Tessa Blanchard was a badass heel fucking dominant physical champion, Britt Baker could be like a Tully Gino kind of thing, where Britt Baker was the really over-the-top flamboyant fucking heel. Yeah, she'd work. Nyla Rose, send her away for a while, teach her a new hold, rehab, or whatever the fuck. When she comes back, maybe they'll forget how she bumped for every fucking 90-pound girl in the business. But no, bring in some new names, don't fuck it up this time. And if they don't want to fucking do a job for Tessa, then they can just fuck it. Do you need help carrying your bag to the car? What the fuck?
But what new names? I mean, you would think if there were many other great names. Are there women
in the world? We are talking, once again, we're talking about a billionaire in a national television show. I'm not talking about what they're going to do. I'm talking about what they ought to do. Is there any other female talent besides those under contract to the WWE anywhere in the world that can have good quality athletic contest matches like, as I mentioned, the Charlottes and the Rhea Ripleys of the world did at WrestleMania with Tessa Blanchard? If there are, you ought to be able to have the money to get them. If there aren't, just shut the fucking thing down and we won't have to watch outlaw bad girl wrestling on Wednesday nights. And I don't care which you do, but I'm just telling you, this is what you should do. If you want to have a women's division, that's what I would do if I was a billionaire. Moving on.